Hey guys, welcome to Pregnancy and Postpartum TV. Today we're doing pregnancy yoga for all pregnant bodies. This is great for beginners, plus size pregnancy, or if you have any physical limitations like knee pain or carpal tunnel syndrome. Instead of going through a specific flow of poses, I'm going to focus on each part of the body and give options for each specific part of the body. So you can choose the pose or the movement that feels the best for you, and so we can help our pregnant bodies feel good and prepare our body for labor and birth. The poses in yoga or the physical practice or the asana practice really isn't about getting the perfect pose, but actually about preparing the mind, and in prenatal yoga, preparing the body, getting rid of aches and pains, and preparing for your upcoming birth. So I really hope that you feel you can make this practice your own, use any modifications, or just feel free to do your own thing, do what feels good in your body. I am going to use some optional props today. If you have some yoga blocks, some bolsters, or a strap, you can grab those, but you can also just use household items. You may want to grab a chair, especially if you're having any knee pain. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could grab some thick books, or you could just grab something like I've got a hairspray bottle or a mouthwash bottle, which helps bring the floor closer to you. You could grab a pillow. If you have trouble getting into a full yogi squat, you could grab, if you don't have yoga blocks, you could grab a stool, and I'll show you how to do it on a stool. If you don't have a yoga strap, you could simply grab one of your baby blankets or a long sleeve shirt that you can help with the stretches. I will keep making pregnancy yoga and workouts every week. If you like videos like these, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you'd like, you can pause the video and go grab any props that you like, and I'll meet you back on the mat. We're going to start warming up our spine. Most commonly, we can do this on all fours. However, if it feels better for you, you could do it in a seated position and move your spine back and forth, opening up your arms and then stretching out your back, reaching forward. If you're comfortable on all fours, then you can find your way to an all fours position with your shoulders over top of your wrists and hips over top of your knees, and then we can round out in cat and then arch the other way. If your wrists are hurting you, you can go down onto your elbows. It may feel good to put a pillow under here, and you can continue those movements back and forth. Alternatively, if your knees are bothering you, you could also do this leaning over a chair and continue that movement. Exhale as you round, and inhale as you arch and look up. Good. From here, we can do some hip circles. You can keep your elbows down or on all fours, whatever feels good. And then we can just move our hips around. Again, just taking whatever movement feels good. You can have your knees nice and wide apart here if that feels good as well. Making room for your belly. You can also do hip circles standing if that feels better for you. Go the other direction, taking some steady breaths. Next, we're going to work our back and our glutes and also our core. It's really more of a full body movement. We're going to do bird dog, engaging our core. We're going to lift opposite arm and leg off. Again, you can be down on your elbows here, or also you could be standing and leaning over a chair, and you're still going to get the benefit of working all of the back of your body. Exhale, engage as you lift up. Inhale on the way down. I'll let you move with your own breath. Let's do one last one here. Good. If you're on your hands and knees, we can tuck our toes and move into downward dog. Alternatively, you can lean over your chair to still stretch out your backs and your legs. You can also be down on your elbows. Your heels don't have to touch the ground. Your position doesn't have to be perfect. Spreading your fingers and toes. Deep breaths here. Let's alternate bending one knee, stretching the other heel towards the ground. Or we can sway our hips back and forth if that feels good. If you're doing it downward dog on the ground, we're going to come up to a standing position. We can come it down to all knees, and if it's helpful, you can use your chair, or this is where you can grab your blocks to bring your foot up and come to a standing position. We'll keep our feet nice and wide as long as your toes and your knees are facing forward. Let's bring our hands into a namaste position. We'll take a big inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. One more time. And hands back. We can place our hands on our hips. From here, we'll do a forward fold. Looking up, opening up our chest, we can bend our knees and fold forward with a lengthened spine. If it helps, you can move your belly out of the way or move any parts around if anything are coming too close together. And then roll up one vertebra at a time. Good. We're going to move into Warrior 2 here, so we can step our feet apart. It doesn't really matter how far apart, however comfortable is you. You can have a smaller stance here, or if you wanted to go deeper, we just want to make sure that our knee isn't going out over top of our ankle there. Let's bring our hands apart. You can also do a variation where you put blocks on top of a chair and sit on the chair and put your legs in the position of Warrior 2. Wherever you are, we'll take a couple of breaths here. Good. We're going to move into side angle here. So you can either take your forearm and place it on your leg, or you can just place your hand on your leg, and we will reach up. And if it feels comfortable, you can look up at your hand, but you can also look forward or down if that's more comfortable. Alternatively, you can also reach your hand above and make a line from your foot to your hand. Again, not worrying if it's perfect. Feeling a nice stretch here. We're strengthening through our legs, getting a nice stretch through our groin. Steady, deep breaths. Good. On the next inhale, let's engage, and we'll come up. We're going to keep our legs bent, and we can take Peaceful Warrior. You can hold on to your belly, connect with your baby again here, lifting up to the roof and over, getting a nice stretch through your ribs here, especially if baby is crunching up in your ribs. One more breath here. Good. Inhale up. And we can switch our feet around, whether you're standing or whether you're on your chair, finding the position that you want your legs in for Warrior 2. Knee is pressing towards the back of the room. Shoulders are relaxed down your back. Soft gaze out over your front middle finger. Beautiful. Let's move into side angle here, bringing your forearm or your hand down to your leg, and then reaching up, or you can reach overhead as well. Finding your breath. Outer edge of your back foot is pressing into the ground. Take one more breath here. Good. Inhale, come up. Taking Peaceful Warrior, lifting up and over. Inhale, coming up. We're going to take Goddess Pose, so we can turn both our feet about a 45-degree angle. Let's inhale our arms up, and then we can bend our knees at coming down. Again, only go down as far as feels good for you. You can also do this sitting on a chair and finding your breath once you're here. Sink a little bit deeper, and inhale, coming up. We're going to take a balance here. We can do a tree pose. So you can keep your feet wider apart and shift your weight to one side. You can either leave your foot on the ground, or if it feels good to you, you can bring it up, or you can also support your leg with a chair, or you can hold on to a wall. So lots of different options here. You can bring your hands up, finding a steady spot to gaze at. This can be really challenging during pregnancy when our balance is out of whack. Let's come out of the pose. We'll shift to the other side, placing your foot down, shifting your weight to the other leg. And you can either leave your toes on the ground or bring it to your calf or even up to your thigh, as long as you're not pressing on your knee. And again, feel free to hold on to something or support your knee with a chair. Finding your breath. One more breath here. Good. Coming out of the pose. Now we're going to stretch through our hips and our glutes and our piriformis muscle, which can be great if you're experiencing any sciatica. This is a great one to do with a chair, or you could do it on the edge of a couch if you have one here. So I'm going to put the chair here. You can also do it on the floor if you're comfortable. We'll do figure 4 stretch. So you can just sit down on the chair, and we're going to cross one leg over. Here you can sit nice and tall. There's going to be lots of room for your belly, and for a little bit of an extra stretch, you can gently place one hand and press down on your knee. You can either stay here tall, or if it feels good, you can tilt forward slightly, keeping a lengthened spine. Relax through your hips a little bit more. Good. If you're folding forward, let's come back up to a vertical position. We can switch to the other side. Just however it feels good for you. If you wanted to, you could press gently on your knee. Take one more breath here. Good. Coming back up. Next, we're going to stretch out our hip flexors. We can move the chair to the side for this one. And there's a couple of different options. You can either do standing lunge and make sure that we are tucking under our pelvis to get a nice stretch through here. My favorite way is to do a kneeling lunge. So if it feels comfortable for you, you can come down onto our knees. You can grab a pillow or a folded up blanket for your supporting knee. If it helps, you can grab some blocks and come to put some weight on the blocks or on the ground, and then you can step your foot forward. Once you're in this position here, you can shift your hips forward and towards the ground, again tucking under your pelvis to get a nice stretch through your hip flexors there. And you can find a position that's comfortable for you. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful. We can switch to the other side, pressing into the ground or into the blocks. Let's shift our hips back, bringing the other knee to the ground and stepping the other leg forward. Shifting your hips, stretching through your hip flexor. One more breath here. Good. Shifting our hips back. We're going to come to Janu Shirshasana, a seated pose. We can lengthen one leg out in front of us and bring the other leg to make a triangle. It doesn't really matter what the pose looks like, wherever feels good, and you can get a stretch through the back of your hamstring. To make this position more comfortable, or if you find that you're rounding out through your back, or you want more space for your belly, you could either sit on a block or a pillow. You could also use support for underneath your knee. And you can use a strap or a blanket or your shirt to help reach towards your leg. Let's sit up tall and release forward, taking deep breaths. This shouldn't feel painful. We do want to be careful in pregnancy because we have lots of relaxin hormone that we're not overstretching. So it should feel good. Don't push yourself too far. One more breath here. Good. Inhale and slowly release out of the pose. It's important to move in and out of poses slowly. Injuries most often happen in transitions. We can switch around to the other side. Finding length in your spine, feeling as if a string is pulling your head up towards the ceiling. And just stretching only as far as feels good and comfortable for you. Finding your breath. One more breath here. Now we're going to move into a wide-legged forward fold. We can slowly move out of the position again. We'll bring both legs out. Alternatively, you could do a standing wide-legged forward fold if that's more comfortable for you. Again, it might be helpful to have a block or a pillow underneath your bum, giving your belly more space and being able to lengthen through your lower back. And we can stay seated up here, or if it's comfortable, you can walk your hands forward. You can also place your hands up on pillows or blocks, or you could rest over a chair if that's comfortable for you. Let's take some deep breaths here. On each inhale, feeling your spine lengthen, and then on the exhale, you can fold over slightly more. Feet are flexed, toes reaching up towards the ceiling. Doesn't matter how far your legs are apart, whatever feels comfortable and good for you. Let's take one more breath here. Good. And slowly release out of the pose. The next pose that we're going to do is to open up our hips and prepare for labor and birth. So we're going to do yogi squat or some sort of variation of a yogi squat. So if it's comfortable for you, the full yogi squat would be to put both feet on the ground and bring your hands together, pressing into your knees. However, a lot of people struggle to get their heels on the ground, so you could put something like toilet paper rolls, you could roll up your mat, or put books underneath your heels to find a yogi squat that might be a little bit easier to hold like this. If you have trouble getting into yogi squat, you could also sit on blocks. So we can take blocks here and you can put the blocks down and sit on the yogi blocks, supporting yourself and bringing here. If you want it to be lower down, you could also flip them this way and be here. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could also just grab pillows or a stool. So I have a stool here. I'm going to put the stool down and a pillow on top and find my yogi squat in here. And I can still open up my hips, pressing elbows. If you're standing and you want to get down into yogi squat, you could also put your back up against a wall, place your blocks and pillow or stool and pillow beneath you, and then slide down the wall if that helps you get into the yogi squat more easily. Finding your way to whatever position is comfortable for you. Let's take a few breaths here. If you're against the wall, your back is actually off the wall now, leaning slightly forward, lots of length. Beautiful. You can slowly release out of the pose and you can lean forward, coming to all fours, or you can push your way back up the wall to a standing position. From here, we can move into our final pose, Shavasana. For pregnancy, it may be comfortable to lay on your side, so getting down safely on your side, and you can grab a pillow for underneath your head, or bolsters or pillows for between your knees. If you have a bolsters and blocks, you could also prop yourself up into a Shavasana position, sort of reclining. Alternatively, it might feel really nice to do legs up the wall. This is great if you have varicose veins or if your legs are feeling really tired. You can see that you're not on your back here if you put a pillow, a block, or a bolster underneath your hips, and you don't have to worry about the weight of your uterus and your baby. If you're in second or third trimester, you're not flat on your back here. But wherever you're most comfortable, you want to be able to fully relax. Let's take some inhales in and deep sighs out. Inhale in and sigh out. Let's do that again. letting everything go. You can place your hand on your belly, connect with your baby, send your baby some love. Scan your whole body, relax your face, your shoulders, your pelvic floor, your feet. This is great relaxation practice for labor when you're in between contractions, letting your body fully relax and letting your body do the work. Let's take some deeper breaths in. You can either stay here in Shavasana or you can finish up with me, wiggling your fingers and toes and stretching your hand up. And we can push up to a comfortable seated position or find any position that is comfortable for you. Thank you so much for joining me for that practice today. Namaste to you and namaste to the babies. I'm going to read the pregnancy yoga card for the day. The card is, my pregnant body is strong, beautiful, and nourishing, and my baby is happy and healthy. If you enjoyed that class, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or feedback, I would love to hear it in the comments below. I will keep making pregnancy yoga and workouts every week. If you like videos like these, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And to support me, share this with another pregnant mom friend or pregnancy community that you think would enjoy it. I also have free resources for pregnant moms that I will put in the description box below, a pregnancy meal plan that I put together as a registered dietitian, a guide on how to reduce and cope with pain during labor, as well as a pelvic floor guide on how to prepare your pelvic floor for the easiest birth and fastest recovery after. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope that you were able to make that practice your own and that your pregnant body feels amazing and that you're feeling prepared and ready for birth.